Yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. There's ROCKSTEADY at King of the Pit TV. Fugazi. Some people might pronounce it Fugazi, perhaps. You tell me, how's it pronounced, alright? I've heard it pronounced in many different ways, i.e. 2 different ways, alright? I apologise in advance if I mispronounce your name. My man Dolphin, Mr. Thorndyke, I appreciate you. Mr. Thorndyke, the legend, has recommended this via the Patreon. Been a real good support to me, in all honesty. Very engaging, very involved, very knowledgeable about the music we discuss on this channel, so thank you very much for that. My experience with this band is near to none. I've seen that they had a little bit of an anti-mosh movement, which is quite funny given where the band is rooted. I used to be a really big Minor Threat fan. I would argue I still am, but I crashed my car one time listening to Minor Threat, and yeah, I've got like traumatic connotations to that band now, so I just don't ever listen to them again. But this is Ian MacKay's band, what he went on to do. I don't know what you would call it. From the outside looking in, arguably, perhaps we're going to be getting post-hardcore emo. There's only one way to find out, alright? First one's Waiting Room. Let me give you a heads up, I have heard Waiting Room. I mean, if you're involved in hardcore to a degree, I'd be surprised if you haven't heard Waiting Room, or at least the bass line to it. But from there on, I don't know any of these songs. So let's jump in. We've got 13 songs as it says. I've been informed that it's a compilation of 2 EPs. I don't know if they were re-recorded, remastered, perhaps, who knows. Let's go. Very organic sound there on the recording of that bass guitar. Just 2 chords there on the guitar, 2 power chords, back and forth. 1 2 3 and... I mean, when was this put out? Do we have a time here? Because it's almost, if it was early, it was almost like a precursor to the New York hardcore sound. Because it, you know, like Crown of Thorns did, what did they call it? Lovesick. And you had Breakdown doing sounds like this and stuff like that with Street Fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit softer than that sound, but you know where I'm coming from with that palm muted mid-tempo groove. How many records did this band put out? $13 million views. Come on. One of the better bass lines, isn't it? Really good. Yeah, really good. Really good. Was Minor Threat still a thing at this point, or had that band disbanded before this band sort of started putting out records? There's definitely a heap more maturity in the music. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be circle pitting to it, but it's a more mature band. It's a more well put together band. That was a good tune. That was a good tune. The way it was composed, the dynamic elements to it, the instrumentation, it was good. Cause I was gonna say, I think Ian MacKaye as well. He also suits this band better. I mean, he was Minor Threat, right? But when I was listening to a hardcore punk like For You playlist that Spotify curates, and you know what? I'm going to follow this conversation on to the next song, alright? Because we've got plenty to talk about. We got Bulldog Front coming up next. There's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. We're listening to Fugazi perhaps. 13 songs, the record. Now we're getting into the material that I'm completely unaware of. I was speaking about Ian MacKaye on the last one. Because if you've just joined me at this point, I was a really big Minor Threat fan. Really enjoyed Minor Threat. Especially in comparison to, you know, the majority of the sounds I've come across from that particular period of the American punk rock sort of shindig. I preferred them a lot more to Black Flag. I can tell you that for certain. A little more in your face. 40-second, 50-second song. 2 chords, 3 chords. Catchy numbers. They just couldn't go wrong as far as my particular taste was concerned. One of their songs came up in a playlist. I crashed my car years back, and I was listening. I had my girlfriend at the time in the passenger seat. It wasn't anything too hectic, but you know, you don't want to do that over and over again, do you? I was listening to Minor Threat at the time, so I've not put them on since. If it wasn't for like trauma, it's also just because like I don't want to invite that energy back into my life, in all honesty. So I really liked Minor Threat. I never really liked it so much for Ian MacKaye. I was never too fussed on Ian MacKaye. There's not many characters around that time I really was bothered about. But I had a Minor Threat song come on, Filler it's called. I just don't think it aged very well, in all honesty. Anti-religion song, it's all in your head. Filler, you're full of religion, you're full of shit, or whatever the lyrical content is. And given that they were young, it's completely understandable. And you know, we are listening to punk rock music, and I do like controversial music, most definitely. And we listen to a lot of metal and so forth. And I'm not religious, but having that come up on the playlist years after me listening to the band, you know, I thought, this hasn't aged too well. Although it's a great tune, energy-wise, you know, momentum-wise, it really ticks all the right boxes for me. Lyrically speaking, it comes with a naivety I don't necessarily care too much about. And I didn't really go into any other tracks other than that. I've heard a few bands cover straight edge, like Slapshot, on one of their more recent records that came up. They did a really good cover of that, to be fair with you. And that's about it. So let's get into this new material, 13 songs. Bulldog Front. I don't know what to expect, but hey, if we're dealing with the same individuals who put Waiting Room together, I'm sure it's going to be pretty good, hopefully. Let's check it out. What I was saying in Waiting Room as well is I think Ian MacKaye suits this band more than Minor Threat. It just sounds like a cooler band. So this isn't Ian MacKaye doing the vocals on this one, is it? Has he played an instrument in this band, or does he just front the band? I've never seen him with an instrument in his hands. Guy Picciotto. And then on the chorus he's joined by Ian MacKaye. This was put out in '89, so I said earlier, Waiting Room was a precursor to that New York hardcore, like riffing you got in the more metal infused bands, but it was the exact same time we were getting that sort of stuff. 1989, somebody says the Billboard Top 5 that year was Look Away by Chicago, My Prerogative by Bobby Brown, Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison, Paula Abdul with Straight Up, and Janet Jackson will Miss You So Much. Anybody got any favourites in there? Every Rose Has Its Thorn as a single, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a great song that is. I think that's a fantastic song. Quite an abrupt ending. I thought we were going to escalate to something there. Potentially we escalate into Badmouth. Maybe we blend it in. It was an interesting song. I didn't think that was that good, in all honesty. A lot of people saying ahead of their time in the comment section. So let's keep on moving. Let's see what Badmouth's saying. We've got a lot more views on this one. This one might tickle me a bit better. There's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. We're listening to 13 songs. This is track 3 of 13, entitled Badmouth. Great guitar tone. Nice. Come on. This is really good. This is better than Waiting Room, this one. This is really good. I like the major tonality. Come on. was Badmouth. That was really good. That was really good. Yeah, that was really good. That was my favourite one so far. I liked the major tonality. I liked how they built attention and they released. And as they released, the dynamic just came all the way down and we got that palm muted riff as opposed to this overt distortion. It sort of led you into thinking you were going to get. I thought that was really good. That was a cool tune. We got Burning coming up next, alright? Track number 4. Hold on tight. Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget the rest now. Des Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. Track 4 of 13 on the 13 Songs record. Dedicated to Mr. Thorndyke. Thank you very, very, very much for recommending this. That was via the Patreon. I gotta put some respect because, bruh, my man hangs around, pays attention and engages with me over some great records, so I love that. This was the title Burning. Let's go. Last track was the best so far, Badmouth. Who's this guy who does the other vocal then? Does he get his props as an artist? Is he in other bands?
But nothing's registered from this location. From this side that I sense that I am in asking, what is this burning in my? What is this burning in my? What is this burning in my eyes? What is this burning in my eyes? I wanted a language of my own. My lips are empty and I mouth the lies of this crowd that surrounds me. Punctured and parceled, I fold my hands to the side that I sense that I am in asking, what is this burning in my? What is this burning in my? What is this burning in my eyes? What is this burning in my eyes? There's something happening, but it doesn't complete. Don't you know what I mean? There's something burning in my eyes. There's something burning in my eyes. There's something burning in my eyes. There's something burning in my eyes.
Quite a hypnotic number. Quite a tense number. Not the best number. On some good records, that might have been considered filler. That could have been considered a bridge from song to song. Good news is this one sits at 584,000 views, so we got a good one coming up. Give Me the Cure. Alright, let's keep going. There's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV signing in. Give Me the Cure is the title of this one. 3 minutes long. 584,000 views. Let's go.
I never thought too hard on dying before. I never sucked on the dying.
A little bit gothic at times.
I never licked the side of dying before. And now I'm feeling the dying. You got your hands over your ears. You got your mind don't need a reason. I never thought too hard on dying before. I never thought on the dying. I never held the hand of dying before. And now I'm feeling the dying. And you got to, and you got to, and you got to. Give me the shot. Give me the pill. Give me the cure. Now what you done to my world? I never thought too hard on dying before. I never thought on the dying. I never walked the side of dying before. And now I feel like
Nice.
under your skin. Come over your eyes. I'm at the tip of your fingers. Tell me reason. Give me the shot. Give me the pill. Give me the cure. You took to my words. Coming around. Coming around. Coming around. Coming down. Give me the shot. Give me the pill. Give me the cure. Now what you done to my world? Give me the shot. Now come on, give me the pill. Give me the cure. Now what you done to my world? Give me the shot.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Both of the vocalists do the band justice. I think you must prefer one to the other, though, if you had to choose, because they both have completely different approaches. It feels like Ian MacKay's a little more melodic, a little more straightforward, belting, melodic, whereas this other guy's got a little more of a spoken tone, a little bit more performative in a way, a little bit more gothic. That was Give Me the Cure. A lot of food for thought. I think that is a song that would grow on me. Once you understand it and how it works and where it goes, I think that's a grower, not a shower. Suggestion, the longest track on the record, coming up next at 5 minutes 49. I'll see you there, people. Let's keep going. What's good? There's ROCKSTEADY, King of the Pit TV, signing in once again. Alone in my life. Yo, this set, or should I say this set of songs, this record goes out to Mr. Thorndike, who's recommended I check this out. I mean, don't get me wrong, people. I'm left in the 90s, me. So as far as like pronouns are considered and all that, maybe I shouldn't jump into calling people Mr. and Mrs. and all that in this day and age. But that being said, big respect. I would love to use the first name, but I don't know how to pronounce it, and I hate to do people a disservice and mispronounce their first name. But this person has been very good to me, engaging and communicating and conversing over a lot of great music with me. Some music being greater than others, goes without saying, but always has something to say about some of the, cooler acts we've checked out. So far, this has been a good mission. Fugazi, tomato, I don't know. Somebody is going to have to correct me. Now, I had something to say, but I've forgotten what. Yeah, I was going to engage Thorndike, right? I'm just going to call you Mr. Thorndike. I don't care if I'm being disrespectful at this point. Mr. Thorndike, you see, bro, I just got lost in cyberspace. I just switched the internet on, so I'm all confused. I'm getting old, people, alright? It was my birthday the other day. I'm getting old. Are you a fan of Hatebreed? I just had Hatebreed's record on. I was at the gym. I had the old school stuff on. I had Under the Knife on. by Hatebreed. Man, the production is terrible as far as what they became and as far as what metalheads generally approach as far as metal. But, wow, what a fantastic sound as far as, like, beat down hardcore is, just what a fantastic sound. Really good. That being said, let's keep on moving. I just bring that up to think I could engage over a little bit of Hatebreed. I'd love to do some Hatebreed on this channel. I did Satisfaction was the Satisfaction is the Death Desire, but I've heard all the Hatebreed stuff. I hadn't really heard the past few records. Don't think I'll bother unless somebody does recommend it, but it'd be too many records I've heard before. It's not like big heavy hitters like Metallica and all that where I've not listened to them in decades. That being said, we've got the longest track here. I got my hinge going mad. I'm happy, people. Suggestion, longest track on the record. That was my introduction. Let's go. Where we at? A little bit upbeat. A little bit like a reggae number in a way, eh? Track number 6 of 13.
Why can't I walk down a street? Feel suggestion.
Get back.
Why can't I walk down a street? Feel suggestion. Is my body my only trait? In the eyes of men, in the eyes of men. Life is again.
So let me just say, I like the song. I like the song. I like the sound of the song. I like the dynamics. But I got something to say. I'm just reading the comments to make sure I don't come across too ignorant of what the actual concept is, because of course we're not even halfway through the song. But I assume it's in regards to men making crass comments to women in public and stuff. If they look half decent in the eyes of, well, even if they don't, people are horrible, and they say bad things, don't they? I think that's what it is now. Oh, it's an anti-R song. Let's see if it. Yeah. So somebody, yeah. So the first comment, because somebody says it's disappointing to see all these ignorant sexist comments on an anti-R song. Do we see the irony here? And yeah, of course, yeah, I do see the irony. And somebody's responded saying it annoys me this song wasn't written or sung by women. But then goes on to like say, where's all the songs about men? Which, there's go and write one yourself, in my honest opinion. That's punk rock, innit, DIY. But I say that to say this. It's tough to hear, like if a woman had written this, I feel it, but how can a man see through and write from the perspective as a woman in such a deep space, from such a deep perspective and concept? I just don't think a man can write that song. I think a man can sing that song if a woman has written it, but if you can't experience that to that extent, it's just like, oh yeah, well, a man could experience something alike. Well, not necessarily, because we both have different brains. We both have different mechanisms that exist within us, I don't want to get all political here, but this is my reaction, innit? This is my reaction, and I haven't even heard the song. I might be riffing on about nothing. But somebody said it was in regards to body language. Oh, it was in regards to like romance and attraction and so forth. And that you don't want to be threatening to a woman purely as why that won't do you much good, will it? I mean, you know, a bit of tension and a little bit of danger perhaps can be quite seductive in its own means, but you don't want to come across as threatening to a woman. She's going to have barriers up, right? And it said, imagine you were 5'3", let's say, and it was completely flipped upside down. Women were twice the size of you. 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot onwards and upwards, even like 5'6" up. Let's just say that, right? And you're 5'3", but you're attracted and want to procreate, or potentially biologically want to procreate. You know, have a purpose and need to procreate, whether you want to admit it or not. With these supersized humans. We're different. That's incredibly threatening, right? We have different survival mechanisms because we're two different beings, is what I'm trying to say there. I'm just fucking going off on one. Fugazi Legends, 13 songs is a masterpiece and this is its crown. Any man who doesn't see the message in this song is, as Cobain says, he's the one who likes all our pretty songs, like to sing along, but he knows what it is. Yeah, cool, whatever. Let's go. I just talked shit for half an hour. Sorry about that, people. Long story short, I don't think a man should be singing from the perspective of a woman from that particular viewpoint. I mean, maybe if it was like a little bit more of a fantasy-based thing, but something as deep as that. If you never know what it feels like, you can't do it. You can't do it. While we're on the topic punk rock and hardcore adjacent music, I'd recommend the band. I don't think they're together no more, but my mate just sent me over a tune by them. I'm more than familiar. I initially put the guy on. Don't want to gatekeep rock like that. Lumpy and the Dumpers, man. Up the egg punks, innit? Lumpy and the Dumpers. And as I said, that's a good tune. You got to check out a band called SHIT. Alright, that's some good hardcore punk, man. Nice.
Watching me suffer. Suffer your words, suffer your eyes, suffer your hands. Suffer your interpretation of what it is.
The backing vocal dude, he reminds me a little bit, nothing direct, but indirectly reminds me of the backing vocalist or side vocalist of System of a Down. Do you know the guy? I think he plays the guitar as well as does the vocals. I mean, when he does, on that particular bit, when he intensifies it a bit, not as much so. This band's got a fantastic way with dynamics, don't you think? Great way with dynamics. Lego. These guys are jamming on this one. How long did this band go on for? guy says, "We sit back like a tortoise." The way that was put forward was quite comical in a way. But you know what? What I said earlier, I went on a bit of a rant and a rave. But now he is speaking some sense, some logic. Now he is speaking in regards to the man who stands by and allows it to happen. It's a tough one, isn't it? This is punk rock. Punk rock.
She does nothing to conceal it. He touches her cause he wants to feel it. We blame her for being there. We are all here. We are all guilty.
It's mad. Because I don't know why we've just frozen there. Right. It's just killed itself off at the highlight of the thing. I'm not... Fuck's sake. Does it end there? How long is this? Right, I don't know if that was the end of the song or not, to be honest with you. But just to finish off, this was a good song. This was a good piece of art. This was definitely punk rock because it gave you plenty of space to form an opinion. It gave you plenty of room for thought. And you can say there's no space for, controversy in this one because it's like, if you're against the message, then you're wrong. Basically, why would you be against the message? But the message, it's good because it sort of pokes at. I don't want to say the nature of a man because I agree with this song. I think that men who sort of are a bit crass to women for the sake of it, I think they have their own personal issues they need to look into because there's a reason why they're acting out that way, and it shouldn't be normalised. But politically speaking, over here in England, it's the working class who get victimised with this brush. So, construction workers and people in that particular field and so forth always get a bad rep for what we call wolf whistling and shouting sort of like just crass offensive stuff to women as they pass on by. But it happened. Well, there is no buts. It does happen. But I want to say it happens a lot as well in the middle class. And I know if you're American, you might think, well, the middle class is like this, that, and the third. But over here, we got working class, middle class, upper class, right? The middle class do it just as much. I find it weird, men who... I guess it's a culture thing and it's an upbringing thing. If you are around it and you see it, then it sort of takes away the weight of what you're actually doing. I don't know any man who's been able to attract women by sort of making comments to women in the street and so forth. And that's the perspective I sort of perceive this in. I don't know if this is like regarding people just being nasty for the sake of it. But I think there is an underlying want under there, or a disdain of what they can't have, or I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, people. I'm not going to talk about it any further, but I just say that to say this. I'm around a lot of middle class people at this point in my life. I come from the working class, and the working class get tarnished with that sort of image a lot, but people who've got money and should have better values and should have been taught better do it just as much, and it's a bit crap, to be honest with you. We got Glue Man coming up next, alright? That was a good song. There's plenty of food for thought. That's beautiful art. That is beautiful art. Glue Man. There's ROCKSTEADY, King of the Pit TV, signing in, track number 7 of 13. Let's go. Shout out to Thorndike. Somebody commented basketball hoop song. I've seen that footage when they were performing live and he goes upside down in the basketball hoop. I've seen that.
I'm bad. I'm dead.
The only song to be played in Drop D by this band. Heavy. That's heavy, that. Crazy low end. That was good. That was really heavy. They said the only song in Drop D. You could definitely tell there was a little bit of a... Yeah, I don't know if they went as low as the Drop D. They might have just used it for playing purposes, but the bottom line is it was heavy. Like, there was a big booming bass at the bottom of there, really fulfilling that lower denominator. We got Margin Walker coming up next, the short one at 2 minutes 31. Alright. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV. We are listening to Fugazi, one or the other. Margin Walker's the title of this. Shout out to my kid, Thorndyke, Mr. Thorndyke, for putting me onto this. You know what? I've always needed to get onto this record. I've always been a little bit anxious in doing so, knowing it would be quite divisive in sound. Whether I'd like it or not, who knows? But it's been good. It's actually been good. It could have gone either way. I could have been incredibly bored by it, but as a band, they're actually quite cool, man. Good dynamics. There's punk rock in there. but it's definitely like more of a rock band than a punk rock band. I can see what people saying indie punk. Now, I wouldn't throw indie and punk together, honestly, but like an indie band, yeah, definite. Margin Walker, let's go. Track number 8 of 13. A little more straightforward, that tune there, a little more of a pulse to it, in the sense that it was just a little more of a punk rockier tune. I don't think it was that good a song, honestly. Ian MacKaye really is the poster boy of the band, but it feels like he isn't really a quarter of what the band is, which is quite interesting. That's not something I expected. Meanwhile, I got a conversation going on here with my mate talking about egg punk and chain punk, so if anybody knows the ins and outs of that, let me know. Quite funny, yeah? Chain punk being for the pissheads, egg punk's just being for the nerds, innit? I'll see you on the flip side, and the same is the title of this one. Let me clear my throat, people. Yes, now, bless now. And the same is the title of this. You're listening to King of the Pit TV. We're doing Fugazi, as recommended by Mr. Thorndyke via the Patreon. Track 9 of 13. Let's put some respect on it. Let's go. Come on now. Egg punk versus chain punks, people. What we saying? That's a neat bass line. Bam, bam.
I know this is politically correct, but it comes to you spiritually direct and
It's a Crash Bandicoot bass line, that. That was really good. Great build-up. This band's got a good thing with build-ups. Establishing tension and exploding at the end. That was a great bass line. That was, I mean, that goes without saying, really, doesn't it? That was a really fantastic bass line. We've got Burning 2 coming up next, track 10 of 13. There's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. We're listening to Not Minor Threat. We're listening to Fugazi. Alright, Ian McKay were fronting the last one. I think the band sounds a lot better with Ian fronting it, personally. I think he's got a great voice for it. Burning 2 is the title of this. Track 10. Here we go. Rock and roll.
Anytime but now, anywhere but here, anyone but me. I've got to think about my own life. Anytime but now,
Nice to see a few shots of them.
anywhere but here, anyone but me. I've got to think about my own life. We are consumed by society. We are obsessed with variety. We are of middle-aged.
Right, I'll be real with you. This guy looks ill. He looks yellow, doesn't he?
Outrage. Then they say, anytime but now, anywhere
That was good. We've had a good run. And the Same and Burning 2 were two fantastic tunes back to back. Margin Walker, the track, I didn't think too much of it, but two great songs back to back. I liked that one a lot. Yeah, I thought that was really good. We've got Provisional coming up next, alright? Let's keep going. Yes, now, bless now, people. Don't forget the rest now. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV. Getting a little bit tired, alright? It's coming to my bedtime, people. So let's finish this record off. This is track 11 of 13 entitled Provisional. We're listening to the 13 Songs album, collection of the first two EPs by Fugazi. Let's go. Where are we at? Suicide Song, huh? Discord Records, this was put on. Bro, some of them Discord early releases go for a lot of money, you know.
Wearing these private minds, the last will come just in time to clear out the chambers, show up the lips. That's the price to pay for hoping every slip's not a slide.
Every slip's not a slide, good line.
In other words, not to get it wrong, pointless to walk when it's best as to run. Secured on the weight of watchful eyes, love to sleep under clear, expensive skies. Somewhere in these Brian hearts, competing histories tear us apart. We hope we won't get what we deserve. Hide behind the targets in front of all the people we serve. Somewhere in these private minds, the last will come just in time to clear out the chambers, sew up the limbs. That's the price to pay for hoping every slip's not a slide.
Are you trying?
Pretty good. I really like that line. Every slip's not a slide. I think that's a great line. It rolls off of the tongue really well. That was pretty good. I like the chord progression on that one. It was a little more joyful, a little more major key to what we've had throughout the record. A little more pop, I should say. We got Lockdown coming up next. I doubt it's a Madball cover. Well, Madball's Lockdown came afterwards, let's be fair. But let's keep moving. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV. Lockdown is the title of this. Track number 12 of 13 on the 13 Songs record, as recommended via the Patreon. Let's go. 2 more songs.
Blood on pedals, blood on grips. She level, chest level, see my lips, let them slip into a smile. Because now after a while, no seems new. God, business is, and business goes. Tension, trash, until sit from above. And layers, until the corner of your mind disappear. Yeah, locked down the remains. Locked down the remains. See there with the kids. She works best when the machine's not inside. Trash is trash, but trash will cash must
Bassist grooving on that.
die. Body bed, body trouble, you spend my time.
Is it Ian McKay on the bass in this band? What role does he play?
5 to 9, something 9 to 5, that's the phone. Come down to remain.
Get back.
Come down to remain. Chilly with a kiss. See with a kiss, like a smile. See with a kiss, like a smile. See with a kiss, like a smile. See with a kiss, like you up, shut you down, lock you up, shut you down, lock you down. Just shut up.
That was Lockdown. That was a good tune. Yeah, that was a good tune. Somebody said in the comment section that they felt like this was that guy, dude, writing, not necessarily finding his own creative direction in the band at that point, and he was writing it like an Ian McKay song. That's what somebody's opinion was. Hey, I'm not a historian of this band. I wouldn't really be able to know. But if you have an opinion on that, let me know. Let's finish this record off with Promises. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV. We're finishing off this record, 13 songs, with the title Promises. Okay, this entire record has been devoted to Dolphin Thorndike. As I say, I apologise if I mispronounce your name. Just correct me. Tell me where I go wrong and I'll make sure I don't do that no further. Recommend it via the Patreon. He put me onto some good music. Has actually got my head screwed on as far as listening to this band is concerned, because I haven't done so since I've been aware of this band. And as I said at the start of this listen through, Minor Threat was like one of my favourite hardcore bands. I really liked the energy Minor Threat had behind them, so it made sense that I had to listen to this at some point. Here I am. I am tired, so it's good that we're finishing this record off. Let's do it. Let's see if it wakes me up a bit as well. I might put me to sleep. Might be a soothing number. We grab anything when we fall. That's a great line. Almost like a dub bass line, I'd say.
Words and expressions, all these confessions of where we stand. How I see you and you see me. Dedication, a symmetry together. We will be forever. Promise in a shit.
Promises of shit.
We speak the word we breathe, and they never had to do. Rearrange and see it through. Stupid fucking words. Taking us in our desires. Free me from this give and take. Free me from this make to make.
Interesting song to finish on. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's finish off this album listen through with a final resolution. Okay, I'm going to rate this record out of 10 and I'll tell you my final thoughts. I'll see you there, alright? Yes, now bless now people. Let's finish this off. So, I just listened to the 13 Songs record by Fugazi perhaps. It's recommended on the Patreon. It was a good record. It was an interesting record. So, I don't necessarily... I mean, from the outside looking in, it was an album. But I've been given the information that it was 2 6-song EP. Well, I say 6 songs. There's 13 songs in total. So, 2 EPs, let's say, put together. It was good. And initially I came into this being a fan of Minor Threat. When I was younger, and when I was initially getting into hardcore punk, Minor Threat was one of my favourite bands. And then I was driving to a art gallery in, where was it? Wakefield, I think, in northern England. And I got into a car crash. Oh, and I was listening to Minor Threat at the time. And so I haven't listened to Minor Threat since. I just don't want to. You know, there is a correlation, and I think that says a lot about music, right? And how music's a beautiful thing purely as we perceive it through the lens of how it touches us personally and the story it tells to us. So I associate Minor Threat with youth, yet it got completely scrambled and rewired by a traumatic experience. I've needed to check this band out properly for some time. It's one of them bands that you would like to at least have some degree of understanding on. I knew of Waiting Room because it popped up every once in a while on playlists. Definitely because of the bass line. But the bass lines pop up every once in a while on this record. Quite unique, inventive, original, good sounding bass lines. Definitely a selling point. 2 vocalists on this record. Some guy called Guy and Ian McKay, which I'm sure the band will be half of the band it was from start to finish without Ian McKay. I just say that ignorantly, but tell me that's not true. Why wouldn't that be true? Ian McKay's bits are better, in my opinion. I think you're definitely going to like one more than the other because they're 2 completely contrasting styles of vocals. They don't necessarily gel too well, but in doing so, you've got a very unique trade-off. Guy's vocals are cool, but they don't hit the melodic factor that Ian's does. And I think atop of the instrumental, Ian's vocals are just better. I think they just suit the band a lot more. If anything, I would prefer just to have him front the band, but that's just me. I don't know the politics in the band, so... You know, whether that's right or wrong to say, whatever. Just listening to the audio, that's what I believe. What else do we have to say? Dynamically, the band was good. A lot of good dynamics, from soft to loud. Don't really overstay our welcome in the loud space. We don't focus on intensity too much. Although we do in some indirect means... as we might establish a lot of tension or create a soundscape that is somewhat abnormal to what we would normally receive in rock music. If I'm going to rate this record, I don't mean it disrespectfully, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Because I'm not going to return to the record. Because it's not music that I would listen to. But there's a ghost rating of 7 for a perspective if I was to put myself in the skin of somebody else. Because I can understand why people would get into this. There's depth. Relatively short songs, but there's depth within the conceptual elements of the songwriting. Like I said, dynamically speaking, instrumentally speaking, there's some outside of the box material without it being arty-farty, without it being, you know, too experimental. Makes me think of that SSD tune, How Much Art Can You Take? Well, there's an adequate amount in this. Drumming was nothing to take home. To be fair with you, there was a couple of drumming moments, throwing an odd snare hit in here, a cool fill every once in a while, which was, it felt abnormal, but not jarring. It was creative. As a creative, I appreciate the band. And as a band, I appreciate the creativeness, because what is it creating music if you're not going to be creative with what you do through one way or another? On that note, I'm signing out, people. So I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.